Hi, my name is Donna from the Doghouse Pet Salon, and today I'm going to teach you how to properly bathe an Australian Shepherd named Pirate. I'm going to teach you how to bathe, demolt, and brush him out properly, cut his nails, clean his ears, and do what's proper for this particular breed. And this is Pirate, my Australian Shepherd that I'll be training you how to bathe and demolt today. Pirate is a rescue dog that was dumped by someone, and my wonderful clients, the Johnsons, rescued him. He does agility at the dog shows, and he's a great dog. He has a beautiful coat, and I'm going to teach you how to maintain this coat. Before you start on any dog, you should make sure you have all the proper tools by the tub so you don't have to be looking for them when you get your dog all wet, just in case your dog doesn't like to be bathed. You make sure that you have eye drops. If you do not have the proper eye drops, what you can do is use baby puppy shampoo around the head. I like to use blackening shampoo on Pirates because he's got this beautiful black coat, and the shampoo will bring out that beautiful color in him. You do not have to use black, but there's all sorts of shampoos you can use, just depending on what you like your dog to smell like. Okay? Make sure that you have the proper drops for the safety of your pet. You want to make sure that you get the drops in his eyes to protect him from getting any shampoo in there. You want to make sure that you lather your dog and have him restrained to wherever it is that you're going to be bathing him, because you do not want him jumping around and injuring himself in this process. What you want to do is make sure that the water's somewhat cool, warm for him, that it doesn't freak him out, that he's not, not having a good time through this whole process. Make sure that you put the hose right to his coat and you're not spraying him all over the place. Some dogs are very nervous about getting bathed, and we want to make this a very fun process for him. What I'm going to do is I'm going to lather up Pirate. Make sure he's all nice and wet, so when I put the shampoo on him, it'll lather into his coat. Like I said, I will be using the black shampoo today. As you can tell, he's got this beautiful black coat that I want to bring out all this wonderful colors out of him. After you've lathered your puppy, you want to make sure that you have the proper shampoo. And that's how you get wet in the process too. So make sure that you don't want to wear anything that you can't get wet in the process. I start from the base of the head. I lather everything. You want to make sure you get underneath his belly, around his privates, from head to toe. You can dilute your shampoo because I buy in gallons. So just depending on what kind of shampoo you have, you can put it directly on the dog, or you can dilute it. Just make sure you follow the instructions on the shampoo bottle. Which each breed, what we have at the back of their little rectum area is called anal glands. Now most big dogs, like Pirate, can express their anal glands by themselves. But sometimes with the older ones, they seem to have a hard time doing that. But I always like to check my dog's anal glands to make sure that they're not full. Now, if you are uncomfortable in doing this process, you do not have to. What you can do is you can take it to your vet and have them do it for you. And so this is not a fun process right here, so if you don't like this part, just go ahead and look away. And sometimes Pirate doesn't like that either. Pirate, good boy. And his sacks are empty. You want to make sure that you get the shampoo from top to bottom, that we lather everything into our puppy. Pirate's been doing this a long time. I've been taking care of him for 2 years now. He comes on a regular basis when his mom and dad are on vacation. After you lather your dog up, it's very important that you get all the shampoo off your puppy. If you leave the shampoo on them, it irritates their skin, and they end up flaking, itching, scratching at themselves. Pirate can use just about any shampoo because he doesn't have any allergies. There are some dogs with allergy problems, so you might have to use a specific kind of shampoo on him. When you're working around the head, if you do not have eye drops to protect from the shampoo, just make sure that you hold your dog by the nose, lather it around, and not get too close to the eyes. Like I said, if you don't have the drops, what you can use is puppy shampoo, and because it's tearless. And if it gets in their eyes, it won't bother them. Now when it comes to rinsing your dog off, just depending on where you would like to start, I like to start at the base of the head. I like to make sure that I hold my dog's nose down so it doesn't go up his nose or all in his eyes or anything. So I hold him by the base of the head, and I make sure that I have the nozzle right against his skin to make sure that it's not spraying in his eyes or anything. I start by the base of the head. I make sure I get all that shampoo off of him. I hold the ear flaps down. It's really important that we try not to get water in their ears because that's how they get ear infections, getting all that water, all that moisture builds up in their ear. In the process, I also get a shower. So by the end of the day, I've had a couple baths myself. I like to run my fingers through the coat to make sure that I get all the way down to the skin. Make sure that you and your pet are in a safe place when you're doing this, that your dog's not running free or he's in a spot that he's too high and he ends up jumping and injuring himself. These are things that you can do at home during the summertime, wintertime, if you can't make it to your groomer over at the doghouse. After we finish bathing him and getting all the shampoo off, we're going to force dry him. Now, if you don't have a force dryer, what you can do is get a couple towels and towel dry him real good. I know this is a long-haired coat, so it takes a while for these guys to dry. I'm going to make sure that when I put my hands through the coat, that nothing comes off but water, that I don't have shampoo lingering in his coat. Now that I know that I've gotten all the shampoo off of him, and after we finish, we want to get the excessive water off of him so it doesn't take so long to dry. And you'll be able to put your hands through your dog to see if you've missed any spots. As I can tell, some of these spots I have missed because I can feel the shampoo in him. And like I said, it's really important that you get all the shampoo off your dog. That will really dry his skin out and irritate him. I know this can be a tedious process, but in the end, your dog will look wonderful. Okay. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to force dry Pirate. I have a dryer that's very powerful that will blow all this water off of him. If you don't have a force dryer, you can make sure that you have some towels close to you. Make sure that you really soak all that water out of your dog, because the more water that's on him, the longer it's going to take to dry him. Breeds like this you can just not leave to dry and not brush out. And I'm going to show you how to properly brush and demolt this breed. I've towel dried him. What I'm going to do is get the force dryer, and we're going to force dry Pirate. Make sure when you force dry your dog that you do not start blowing it in his face. Some dogs do not like the loud noise. They do not like the air in their face. You want to start off slow, and you want to hold your nozzle down right into the coat to get all that water off your dog. You see how it's blowing all that off? When you get around the head, it's really important that you hold their nozzle down so it doesn't bother them. Some dogs just do not like to be force dried. I try to keep the nozzle as close to the skin as possible so I can, number one, get all this water off, but number two, blow out all that undercoat that he has that's coming out. As you can tell, Pirate is trying to speed up the process too. See all that hair blowing off? Pirate's got a lot of undercoat that we're going to have to terminate, get off, so it's not stuck to his skin. Good boy. Good boy. You see how beautiful his coat is? Start your puppies off young. The sooner you start them getting bathed, getting handled, their feet cut, their ears cut, the easier of a process it is for your puppy. The longer you wait, the harder it is for them. You want to be able to touch your dog's feet and him be okay with that. Not be scared and try to bite you. You want to get them used to all this noise, the water, the touching, the feeling. Before you bring your pet to any salon, make sure they have their shots so they don't get sick. After they've had their first couple of expensive shots, start them out. Get them used to getting groomed. Get them used to getting bathed, blow dried. It might take a while to dry because he's got such a thick undercoat. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take Pirate down. I'm going to put him on my table so I can finish completely drying him. And then I'm going to teach you how to properly brush him, furminate him, cut his nails, clean his ears, and brush out this undercoat. And now that I've finished completely drying Pirate, I'm going to teach you how to demolt and brush out this Australian Shepherd. You want to make sure you have the proper tools at your table. Make sure your dog is restrained so he's not injured in the process. What we have is a slicker brush, a furminating rake, and a comb. I'm going to teach you just how to brush your dog out. Make sure that he's properly brushed and properly furminated, okay, before we get on to anything else. You can start at the beginning by starting at the base of his head with your slicker brush. Make sure you get all the way down to the skin. What I see with a lot of my clients and the problem with brushing out a dog is that they brush out the top layer and not get down to the undercoat. And then when they bring the dog in and ask why the dog is mad and has so much undercoat, it's because we haven't brushed the dog properly. Okay? So we want to start, you can start wherever you would like on your dog. I like to start on the back. I like to make sure he's completely brushed out. Brush through his legs, his haunches, his little butt feathers. And how you can tell if you've properly brushed your dog is you want to take your comb. If you can't get your comb all the way like I'm getting mine through his beautiful coat, then that means you haven't brushed the dog properly. As you can tell, there's some spots where my comb gets stuck. That means I have to take a little more time and brush in that particular area out a little better. Some of these Australian Shepherds have really thick coats. It just depends on who breeds them, who you get them from, if they're a good breed or not. Some of them have really thick coats, other ones not as much. Some have undercoats and some don't. So it just all depends on who you get your dog from. And you might have an Australian Shepherd who's a mix, who doesn't have a thick coat at all, that you've rescued from the pound. As you can tell, he's very well taken care of. You see this beautiful coat that he has? We want to make sure we get all the matting out of Pirate. We want to make sure we brush his front legs. And the reason I like this particular slicker brush is because it really gets down. It's a good sturdy brush, and it does its job. You hear all that? That means I haven't properly brushed him out right. And Pirate's being such a trooper today by being my little helper, because he's a really good dog. You want to make sure you get behind the ears, because a lot of times what dogs do is they like to kick at their ears, itch at it, and then all this matting gets stuck behind there, and then they end up with big matted balls behind their ears. And then we end up having to shave that out. You see that? That means we've properly brushed this dog out. We can get this comb through, get down to that coat. Pirate has some demolting, not a lot because he's so well cared for. With my furminating rake, you want to be careful that you don't sit there and rake in the same spot, because it does irritate their skin. What this does is it pulls out that undercoat. You see all that hair coming off? Pulls out that undercoat, gets all that excessive hair out. In the summertime, they like to drop their coat. And that's what all this excessive hair is. This heat kills them. It gets hot, the coat gets heavy. As winter comes, their coat starts to thicken up. Good boy. And by the end of the day, I'm just as hairy as the dog. Now that I've properly brushed my dog out, some people like to use cologne, some people like to use leave-in conditioner. You can buy it from us, you can buy it from Pets, wherever. But we do have leave-in conditioners that you can use to spray on these dogs, and it brings that beautiful shine out of them. See that? That means we've completely brushed out Pirate. He's got this beautiful coat. His mother will be so happy to see him. He won't be stinking. His parents will be happy and he'll be happy. I like to completely brush and demolt my dog before I start on the nails, ears, all the other stuff that comes along with it. That concludes our video on how to bathe, dry, and demolt an Australian Shepherd. And on our second video, I'm going to teach you how to properly brush, comb, and furminate an Australian Shepherd. I'm going to teach you how to cut his nails, clean his ears, and brush him out to breed specification.